The Louis I know wouldn't be defeated by something like this. He is ruthless. He is mean. And if someone wronged him, he wouldn't hesitate to tear them apart limb from limb.
Who knew that a love for ballet could bring two co-workers closer together? Watch as Louis and Rachel's unexpected bonding over a legal ballet drama unfolds, proving that sometimes shared passions lead to surprising alliances. At the Royal Hall during a ballet event, Louis and Rachel found themselves unexpectedly alone. Donna, who was supposed to join Rachel, had cancelled at the last minute due to grief. Spotting each other, Louis inquired if Rachel had a companion for the evening. She explained Donna's absence, adding that she hadn't been able to reach her despite multiple attempts. Louis empathized, revealing he too had tried catching Donna without success. Louis asked Rachel if she had always enjoyed ballet. Rachel confirmed she had been a fan since her childhood. Louis, in an attempt to connect more, shared that he also loved ballet from a young age. Louis mentioned he preferred attending ballet alone as it allowed him to immerse himself fully in the performance without distractions. He felt that discussing the dance during the show took away from the experience. Rachel agreed, understanding the desire to just feel the performance. Just as Rachel thought of leaving, Louis quickly offered her the extra ticket he had, explaining he always bought an adjacent seat to ensure some personal space. He invited her to join him in the third row, a prime spot for enjoying the ballet. Delighted by the offer, Rachel accepted it. As Louis and Rachel were leaving the Royal Hall, they were taken aback by the sound of a man loudly voicing his displeasure. Initially, Louis assumed that the man was criticizing the ballet performance and was on the verge of confronting him, only to realize that the man was none other than Sergei Baskov, the renowned ballet dancer. Baskov was upset not at the performance, but due to the dangerous conditions behind the scenes at the Royal Hall, which had resulted in injuries to his dancers, including Katya, a principal dancer who was unable to perform that night. Recognizing a chance to help, Louis offered his legal expertise to Sergei, noting that addressing tenant disputes was his specialty. He humorously suggested he could be Sergei's nightcracker, joining the battle against the figurative Mouse King. Sergei was initially reluctant to accept help, feeling it would be an imposition, but Louis insisted, eager to correct the wrong Sergei and his dancers had endured. Sergei, moved by Louis's offer, gratefully accepted. Louis found himself in a challenging situation when he realized Harold Gunderson lacked the necessary understanding of ballet critical for handling their new legal case. He asked Harold for a list detailing the issues with the rehearsal space, such as the creaky floorboards, which he pointed out could negatively impact the dancers' performances. However, Harold dismissed the significance of such details, implying the dancers shouldn't let it affect them. Rachel clarified to Harold that in ballet, attitude refers to a specific pose, but Harold seemed to miss the point, equating it to merely striking an attitude, which he claimed to do frequently. Louis, increasingly frustrated, then requested a list of ballet company's principals, hoping Harold would understand he meant the lead dancers. Harold, misunderstanding again, listed values like integrity and patriotism. This mix-up confirmed Louis's fear that Harold was not the right person for the job. He promptly decided they were done trying to make it work with Harold. Louis declared that Rachel was being drafted into the case. Harold objected, noting that Rachel wasn't even an associate, but Louis cut him off, asserting that Rachel not only had a deeper understanding of ballet but also possessed a more robust grasp of legal matters than Harold. As Harold tried to interject, Louis firmly told him to be quiet, explaining that his mind has been racing with tasks ever since they met Sergei the ballet dancer. He had already prepared a to-do list for Rachel to handle. Rachel assured Louis she was on it. Rachel asked Harold if he could fetch the rest of the files related to the ballet case. Harold agreed and went to retrieve them. He confessed to Rachel that he didn't understand the appeal, noting the lack of words, story, and action, and questioning what made ballet interesting at all, just as he asked Rachel to reassure him that Louis wasn't behind him. Louis himself appeared and greeted Harold with a playful yet pointed correction. Louis seized the moment to educate Harold on the significance of ballet. He listed Penelope Cruz, Zoe Saldana, and Audrey Hepburn, asking Harold what they had in common. When Harold responded they were all attractive, Louis corrected him, explaining that their success was largely due to the discipline and grace they gained from ballet. He passionately described ballet as a form of art that captures emotions, is breathtakingly beautiful, and communicates what words cannot. He then advised Harold to consider taking ballet lessons to improve his own prospects at the firm, humorously noting that currently, the only breathtaking aspect of Harold could easily be described in unflattering terms. He told Harold to get back to work and asked Rachel to make sure he had everything Louis needed by the next morning. Rachel mentioned that she had completed her task, to which Louis, surprised, noted that she had been there all night. Rachel confirmed, explaining she had gathered all the information on the lease agreements and financials as Louis had requested for that morning. However, Louis revealed that Sergey had already walked him through the finances earlier and shared an interesting tidbit about Sergey having danced with the legendary Nureyev. Rachel acknowledged this and then mentioned she had discovered something else significant: lead paint. Louis reacted with enthusiasm, recognizing the value of the information, and asked Rachel to join him. They uncovered that the Royal Hall's neglected air conditioning system had led to a dangerously toxic environment. Louis pointed out that according to Section 5 on page 30 of the lease, the Royal Hall was obligated to maintain and repair the rehearsal space. A man asserting his authority responded that he was fully aware of the lease terms since he had drafted them himself. Louis then questioning how the man could justify the hall's failure to address the air conditioning issue, highlighting that it had led to the presence of toxic lead-based paint. Rachel supported this by noting that the Royal Hall's deliberate neglect had transformed a simple tenant dispute into a potential criminal matter. Louis warned that he was prepared to involve the district attorney if the necessary repairs were not addressed immediately. The conversation took a turn when the man disclosed that Sergey had not paid his share for the maintenance of the ballet rehearsal space for over a year, prompting the hall to consider legal action and eviction. He explained that the ballet was supposed to cover all repairs from a special fund, which they had stopped contributing to a year ago. Louis asserted that payments had been made every month. However, the man suggested that Louis should investigate further as the payments had not been received by the hall. Confused, Louis admitted he didn't fully grasp the discrepancies in their financial records. The man then pointed out that since Louis had come in making threats, he felt compelled to take legal actions himself. He declared that he would be filing for the ballet's eviction. Louis had called Rachel to his office, troubled by a revelation about Sergey. He disclosed to Rachel that Sergey had deceived him about the financial contributions to the hall. The funds had been diverted into Sergey's own account instead. Louis was devastated, recounting how Sergey had been his idol since he was 8 years old, the very reason he pursued ballet over more conventional childhood interests like sports. Louis expressed his dilemma to Rachel, admitting how difficult it was for him to take action against Sergey. He felt incapable of confronting the man who had so significantly shaped his passions. Rachel firmly reminded him that the essence of ballet transcended any individual, even someone as influential as Sergey. She articulated that ballet was an art form that spoke to the soul, its beauty and expression far surpassing the contributions of one man. She pointed out that Louis she knew was tough and unyielding, someone who when faced with deceit would not hesitate to act decisively, even if it meant taking dramatic actions against those who had betrayed him. Louis confronted Sergey. He accused Louis of ruining everything, claiming that his involvement had led to their eviction. Louis quickly silenced him, expressing his deep disappointment and accusing Sergey of bringing disgrace to the ballet that he so dearly loved. Louis informed him that the debts to the Royal Hall had been settled. Curious, Sergey demanded to know how this was possible. Louis explained that he had moved funds around to show the board how they could cover all expenses by cutting out Sergey's excessively high salary. Sergey argued that the board would never consent to such a plan, but Louis revealed that the board was already aware and had approved the decision. He shared that they were present not just about the eviction, but to witness Sergey's dismissal. However, Louis offered Sergey a chance to exit gracefully and avoid further scandal. When Sergey claimed that his departure would be scandalous in itself, Louis presented it as a gracious opportunity, urging him to accept the offer swiftly before he reconsidered. What do you think about their approach to handling the unexpected challenges thrown their way? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more intriguing content.